in search to discover my true self. Adaptation and discovery of one's true self. As I mentioned earlier, I've lived in many different countries, different cultures, even within the same country. And I often wondered if I actually adapted to the environment, if I was living my own life, or if I was living the life that the environment has fashioned for me. So I went in search to discover my true self. I've often talked about my true self, even in these Toastmasters. I mentioned it several times about discovering one's true self. Without yourself, you're basically existing, you're not living. So I went in search. I went first of all to the definition. And the first definition that I found said that to adapt is to make a situation or to make something suitable for a particular situation. So I thought about that. It's too ambiguous, too complicated. In search of oneself and in search of my true self, I thought that I should go to the beginning. So I went to the children's dictionary. And in the children's dictionary, I thought about purity and cleanness and just open-mindedness. So when I got to the children's dictionary, and I will read this for you, I wrote it down. It says that the process by which humans or other species become better suited to the environment. So when I thought about it, it makes more sense. Children are truly pure at heart. They know who they are. They're not yet formed. The environment has not decided for them who they are or who they ought to be. They are clean, they are pure. So I decided I will follow this path and really try to discover my true self. So I looked at three things that affect oneself in adaptation or in finding themselves. So the first thing I thought about was the culture, how the culture helps shape you. I thought about also the religion, and then the environment in which you live in or operate. And many of the things that I found out, I cannot tell you in 5 to 7 minutes, but I'll paraphrase as we go on to get you to get a little better understanding of what we're doing. So I thought about the culture as I was growing up. I remember my parents always saying, you must go to school, you must eat before you go, you must go to church before you eat. If you don't go to church, you don't eat. So sometimes we always ate early on Sunday because we go to the first service, which is 7 to 8 o'clock, and we come back and we eat breakfast. On other days, breakfast at 8 or 9 o'clock while we're in school, and so on and so forth. So I thought it was a good thing, and that's what I carried on. I wanted to instill it on my children. So as I go through, I lived in Mexico a little bit, and I lived in the UK a little bit, but I found in the United States that I will follow the culture of this land. I love Hollywood. I used to watch the movies all the time. So let me adapt to this culture. This is who I want to be. Forget it that there's somebody that I am already. I want to be something that I'm not. So I'm escaping from my true self. So I started searching. And as I went along to do these Hollywood things, I found that I was in college for 8 years already and no degree. And so I hurried up and gathered myself together and got a degree and kept pursuing Hollywood and the glamour of Las Vegas and Atlantic City and some of those things. But I kept chasing. It seemed like chasing the wind. So I thought about adaptation. Do I really adapt or do I switch on and off? And I'm using myself. And then I started going back. I went back home. I'm from Africa, born and raised. So I went back home. And I remember a friend of mine, in those days, nicknames were in vogue. Some people are called Babekwe. You know, when they call Babekwe, you say, yeah. Or some are Jantamanta, Motimor, Jaguar Nana. They have all these names. And if you have a nickname, then you are happy. So there was this guy called Babekwe. So I came to Tyler, Texas, my first day. And they were driving me around town, and I saw Babekwe. I said, oh my God. So I jumped out of the cab, went in there. I need to see Babekwe. Who is it? It's my brother. I need to talk to him. And so the guy was surprised. After a minute or two, a few seconds then, he went back and called the manager. And so, for some of you who do not know what Babekwe is, you know, I brought this just to enlighten you. So, and when I wrote, I said, the owner of this place, his name is on Babekwe. And so I didn't know there was something called barbecue, that you eat it, that is not really somebody's name. But obviously he did his research and found out about Babekwe. There's some profound statements that I picked up as I was doing my research. It talks about being your true self. That to be one's true self is freedom. That you are not confined. So when you find your true self here, it talks again about this. To step into your highest potential is what finding who your true self is helps you to do. It talks about also embracing your true self radiates a natural beauty that's undilutable. It goes on, and it talks about women, especially. Some came with tiny little bodies, others medium-sized, others what my sister calls full-figured. If you do not know your true self, you want to be like somebody else. If the Lord has blessed you with meat, keep it, celebrate it, enjoy it, feed it. Find your true self, be happy with what you have, embrace it, massage it, caress it, live it. It is your life. So don't go around trying to be like somebody else. So I started looking at all these things, and I decided that for myself, that I will adapt only to those environments that help me realize my true potential, realize my true self. So I encourage you today, fellow Toastmasters, adapt, but remember who you are. Mr. Toastmaster.